Students, today we will start a new lesson called Natural Resources. What is the name of the lesson? Natural Resources. So what do you mean by natural resource? Natural resource, there are so many things around us. Can you name some please? It's available in our surroundings. So what are the things are available? Example, water, air, whatever it is, minerals available in the surroundings are called as natural resources. What it is called? Natural resources. Nature has gifted us with so many things. Okay, so what are the things we have from nature? Plants, animals, minerals, air, which is very essential for living things to live in the on the earth. So air is very important for all living beings. Water, even this is also main source for a human being to survive. Not only human being, all living things also. Minerals, plants, animals, birds and so on. So we can just learn so many things. It's a gift from our nature. So these valuable substances are very useful. It is very useful also. And whatever existing substances which we can see around ourselves in the nature, it is called as natural resources. So what do you mean by natural resources? Valuable and useful substance. Not only which is not useful, it is, these are the things very useful, isn't it? Every human being needs air, water and food, whatever it is. Everything from where we are getting? We are getting from our nature. So whatever substances which are useful and valuable which we are getting from our nature is called as natural resources. So there are two types of natural resources. How many types? Two types. One is renewable, the other one is non-renewable. So what are the two types of resources? Renewable resources, non-renewable resources. So natural renewable resources. Renewable resources replace themselves by natural processes. So there is a difference between renewable and non-renewable. What do you mean by renewable? It can replace themselves. Okay, replace themselves by natural process. It has to undergo some process naturally. So those things are called as renewable resources. For example, soil, water, whatever it is. Renewable resources replace themselves by natural processes so that they never completely used up, such as soil, water example. Why? Because water we will be using it. So every day we are consuming water for everything, isn't it? So whether the water is exhausted, whether water is finished, no. Soil, whatever you see on the ground or anything, whether everything is finished, no. They'll be generating themselves. It can be replaces. Okay, so it can replace by themselves only. Nobody can come and put water there. No, it is generated from our nature only. So this is called as renewable resources. Non-renewable resources exist in limited amounts. So whereas renewable resources, it is irreplaceable. It can't be replaced. Okay, this replaces by its own, but here it can't be replaced. That is the difference between renewable and non-renewable. Non-renewable resources exist in limited, only certain quantity you can avail it. Cannot be replaced easily, such as minerals and all. Okay, minerals and all. You can't have minerals as if you consume, if you use minerals more and more, you can't get again and again. No, you can use it only in a limited edition, limited quantity. So next, coming to natural resources, the first very important natural resources are water. Okay, water is a main natural resource. Human beings, plants, animals, everything needs water to survive, to live. Most of the Earth's surface, as you know, our Earth is called as a blue planet. Why? Because 3/4 of the Earth is covered only with the water and 1/4 is covered by the land. That is why it is called as a blue planet. And Earth's surface is covered by only by water. So this is the one of the most important natural resources. Okay, makes it look, why it is called as blue planet? Because the water makes it look blue from space. When you see from the space, it looks blue in color. That is why Earth is called as a blue planet. However, only 2.8% of water is fresh water that can be used by humans. The other water is salty. Salty means uppu nimsha irutte. Okay, salty. So you can see so many oceans. You can taste the ocean, sea water. It will be very, very salty. Therefore, the amount of fresh water is scarce and must be used very, very wisely. And when you compare to the fresh water and the other water, the fresh water is available only in a limited quantity. That is why we say please don't waste water. Okay, because only 2.8% is there. How much? 2.8%. 2.8% of water is fresh water. That's all. The remaining 97.2% is water is very, very salty. So this water is very, very important for all human beings. Okay, for drinking purpose, for any other purpose, this is very, very important. That is why we have to preserve water also. Sources of water. So last year also you studied from where all you get water. What are the sources? Rain, river, lake, ocean, whatever it is. So rainwater is the main source of water. So what is the main source of water? Rain. Rainwater is the main source of fresh water on earth. A large amount of rainwater flows into ponds, lakes and rivers. This is known as surface water. So last year also you have done the science exhibition. So many classes have done the science exhibition. Some of them have done the how to preserve the rainwater. How to preserve the rainwater. So and here also the rainwater is very, very important. When the rainwater is there, you have to save that water. There are certain processes also to save the rainwater. And here rainwater, this is called as surface water. What it is called? Surface water. The rainwater that seeps into the earth is called as underground water. So when the rainwater seeps into the ground means it just absorbs the ground absorbs the rainwater. When the rainwater seeps into the ground, it is called as underground water. Two types of water is there. One is underground water and one is surface water. The rainwater that seeps into the earth is called as underground water. It can be taken only by digging wells, tube wells and hand pumps. So you can see some of the village areas or wherever it is, when water is necessary, when they are constructing any buildings, and water is also very, very necessary, isn't it? So what do? They dig wells along to get the water. That is called as underground water, that is seeped through the drain. Okay, and tube wells and hand pumps. Hand pumps are also used to get the water from the underground level. And you know for what are the purposes we use water. Uses of water. Water is used for personal and domestic use. For both things we are using the water, such as drinking, bathing, cooking, washing and so on. It is used for irrigation in agriculture. So in all fields water is very, very useful for the people to survive. Water is also used for industrial purpose. For any industries also it is very, very essential, such as extracting natural gas from rocks, paper making and other industrial procedures. See, rainfall is an important source of fresh water in India. Here you can see the fresh water. Okay. And then, so since water is useful for in all the fields, in irrigation, how water is used? Farmers need water to grow crops and all, for to irrigate their fields and ensure that their crops grow well. In order to get a good kind of crop, water is very, very essential. So farmers need this water to grow, to yield good crops also. They get water for irrigation through water tanks, canals, dams and so on. So from where do farmers get? They use for irrigation purposes, isn't it? So from where do they get? They get from well, canals, dams and so on. The water stored in dams is used for generation of electricity, irrigation and other purpose. So I think in the second lesson I taught you how water electricity is produced through the construction of dams and everything. Okay, irrigation. Okay, and the water stored in dams. For example, you can see this in the Gorur Dam. How water electricity is generated through dams. Okay, dam water. How the electricity is generated. The water stored in dams is used for the generation of electricity, irrigation, and other purposes as well. Some other multi-purpose projects in India are, there are, apart from this, there are some other multi-purpose projects are also. So what are the other multi-purpose projects? Bakranangal Dam, built on the Sutlej River, a Damodar Valley project of Damodar River. Okay. So what are the two multi-purpose projects? One is Bakranangal Dam, Bakranangal. The other one is Damodar Valley. In this picture, you can see how farmers are using for irrigation purpose. See, farmers in Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and everything, they use water for irrigation. These are the fields where the crops are grown through the irrigation method. And here the big wells are also constructed, and here dam water is used for irrigation purpose. I think this you can see in your textbook itself. These days, sprinklers and drip irrigation have also been adopted by some Indian farmers. So now, to cultivate good crops and all, what do they do? What do farmers do? They use sprinklers. See, you can see in the fields and all, some of the farmers would have using this sprinklers. The water will be sprinkling like that, okay. And then they use the drip irrigation. Drip irrigation in the sense, the water passes drop by drop to all it, so that all the crops get equal amount of water to yield more and more crops. A piece of equipment used for automatically watering agricultural farms and plants is controlled manner is called a sprinkler. So sprinkler, what do they do? When they use it in their fields or whatever for the agriculture purpose, an equal amount of water is being produced by using the sprinkler. Otherwise, they can't manually go pour water for each crop. So this sprinkler is very, very useful. Nowadays, the farmers are using these type of methods. Okay, they are using sprinkler and drip irrigation system. They are using sprinkler and drip irrigation. So two methods they are using. They are using some modern techniques also. In drip irrigation, pipes are laid along the ground so that they are near to the soil and roots of the plants. So for a crop to grow, soil is also necessary and then water is also necessary. So what they do, the drip irrigation, a long pipe has been laid there on the ground near to the soil and roots of the plants. The roots also should absorb water, isn't it? So it is placed near to the roots and soil also. Water drips out from these pipes and keeps the soil moist. So when the soil is moist, that particular crop will yield good kind of fruits or whatever it is. So that is why they use this kind of irrigation. So here, this is called as sprinkler. Okay, see, the water is sprinkling like this. Okay, a sprinkler spraying water on the plants. Then the other one is called as drip irrigation. Okay, in drip irrigation, pipes are laid along the ground so that they are near to the soil and roots of the plants. Water drips out from these pipes and keeps the soil moist. Drip irrigation helps in reducing wastage of water. So what is the use of drip irrigation? It prevents the wastage of water also. So for all these purposes, water is very, very essential to be conserved. Conservation of water is very, very important in this technique. Okay, the shortage of water is growing problem in many parts of the country. As you know, many countries are facing the scarcity of water. So in order to avoid this problem, what we should do, we should conserve the water. How it can be done? Additionally, the dumping of waste from industries and sewage from big cities pollute water bodies and harm marine life. So what happens? Whatever we do, we just dump, isn't it? So this is causing the land pollution and even air pollution also. There are many disadvantages here. What they do in industries, big industries, they dump the waste materials from industries and sewage mean from the big cities, they pollute the water bodies. Sorry. Therefore, each one of us should do our bit to conserve water. So it is very essential for each as a citizen of India. It is very essential to conserve water. Okay. Do not leave the taps open when you are not using. What are the things what are the steps, measures you can take in order to avoid the wastage of water? The first thing is, whenever you are using the tap, okay, once after your usage is finished, please close the tap. For example, even in schools, many of your students, what you do, go for the washroom and just leave the tap running like that only. Is it a good habit? No. Each and every time, all teachers, workers, they advise you to stop the tap water after usage. You just leave it and just to come out. That is not very well. It's not a good habit. Not only in school, even at home also. You will be having sufficient quantity of water, but it is not right. You just don't leave the tap. You have to always preserve the water. Use a bucket instead of shower to take a bath. This is one more important thing. Instead of using the shower takes lots of wastage of sink. It consumes lot of water also. So instead you can use in a bucket. Store rainwater for future use. The rainwater has to be stored for future use. Throw tissue paper into the waste basket rather than flushing it. So instead of put it in the flushing it on everything, throw it in the dustbin, waste basket. Fix the leaks in pipes in the kitchen, bathroom or any other place at home. Suppose if you find any leakages in the pipes, you please see that it is cleanly closed in order to prevent the leakage of water. Factories must treat the polluted water before releasing it into the water body. So what factories should do that? They should treat the polluted water. The water used, once the water used in the factories, the water becomes polluted. So what they should do? They should do this recycling method. When they do that, they can also use the water for their future production or anything. Okay. So it is very essential for each citizen to conserve the water. If the water is not conserved, this conservation procedure is not followed, the human being will be facing lot of problems in future in scarcity of water. So here I'll be ending the chapter. So what are these things you will learn today? Natural resources. There are two types of natural resources. One is renewable and the non-renewable. So natural resources is a thing gift from our nature, such as air, water, minerals, so on and so on. So it is two types of our resources are renewable and non-renewable. Renewable, it can be replaced by themselves. Non-renewable is it cannot be replaced. You should use it in a limited quantity. So here we learnt about the water and its conservation also. It is very essential for each citizen to see that water has to be stored in sufficiently for future years. I think by this I'll be ending the chapter. Please, if you have any doubts, you can contact me. Thank you.